Mikey.
Hey Dan, how's it going?
Hey, it's actually John.
John, my bad.
All good.
You have are you just using his Skype?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, I have my own Skype, but for whatever reason, it doesn't pop up my name. It just pops up like user IF 3269. It's like, all right.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Word, dude.
Yeah.
Well, any surprises, questions I should know about? Are we all good?
No, we're just get right
Sweet.
into it, man. What's going on?
Hell yeah, dude, chilling, man. I'm about to go to this Too Close to Touch show and hang out with those guys and water parks and Creeper from the UK. So
Yeah, that's awesome,
Dude.
man. I hear that whole entire tour is selling great.
dude, yeah, I've been just seeing like low ticket warnings and just sellouts and just all kinds of shit, dude. It's crazy. I actually think the show here tonight just recently sold out, and just like today.
Oh, wow.
So it's gonna be sick.
And they're playing like pretty small venues too, like maybe 300 cap rooms.
You know, the venue tonight, I believe, was like a 5 to 750 cap.
Holy
so
shit! Wow.
That's just occurred to me, but yeah, that's really crazy, dude. That band is blowing up, man. Ever since they won that like alternative press breakthrough band, like there's just been so many eyes on them, and like Warped Tour and their new record is just like just charted amazingly. I just love those guys. Like as people, they're amazing people. So
Yeah,
definitely gonna go out and support.
exactly. I hear nothing but great things about actually all those bands. Like the entire tour bill is being, praised, which is hard.
Yeah.
Which is hard to hear from a. It's pretty rare, I should say, where an entire.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that it's made up of all like strictly like breakout bands. Like no disrespect at all, but like almost nobody knew who these bands were like 2 years ago, or like even a year ago in like some cases, and like they're just like selling out this tour together, and it's like I love seeing that shit, man.
Oh, absolutely.
So awesome.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy going back to like seeing 21 Pilots play like these small ass places. You're like, this band could catch on. I don't know if they can or not. And then fast
Yeah.
forward like 3 years later, and they're headlining arenas, and you're like, what the fuck just happened?
Dude, it's absolutely insane. And that's definitely like something I try to like put emphasis on in our music too, is like it's like a part of this scene, like it's in touch with the scene, but like it has the potential to do greater things, like big things. So
Yeah.
I always want to have those kind of like roots, like I want to be that band that has that kind of story.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus your music has that mainstream appeal too. Like there's from what I've heard, there's I don't think any screaming, right?
No, on our first record, I did screaming on maybe 2 songs, and they were like surprise, like screaming parts, just
Yeah.
to like literally for shock value, I would say. But it's funny, whenever we would play those couple songs, like I would definitely see heads turn, like when I would start screaming, just because I wasn't doing that a couple seconds ago.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
great because like you have a great voice, and usually more vocalists lean towards the screaming when their singing really isn't that on par. Like for example, take a look at A Day to Remember, where Jeremy started out doing a shit ton of screaming, and then just developed his more clean voice, and now you have I think Neil that does most of their screaming now.
Yeah, I think that's totally true. And for me, it was like when I would try to scream, it's just the most unhealthy, like, just scream you could imagine, where I'm like literally just like screaming like you would scream if you're mad at someone.
Oh, you got the improper
And-
thing going on.
Yeah, I just never like mastered it. Like I can make it sound cool, but like trying to like do that all the time would wreck me. Like I would not have the singing voice that I have now.
Yeah.
Is for
Now, do
sure.
you sing from your diaphragm, or is it just all in the head?
Whenever I first started, I would completely sing, like basically in my chest voice, just constantly, just because that's what I thought sounded good, and that's like, kind of where I was in my capabilities at the time.
Yeah.
But over time, I've kind of developed a little more range, which is how you get into like the mixed, like head voice stuff. And I just had tried to find like a sweet spot kind of in between. I kind of like will like kind of wait to like blow my steam, I guess. Like I'll like start kind of soft and get up to that stuff that I used to just basically rely on. And it's just like the like the 3 or 4 gears of singing. I forget how many it is, but like first gear is like the, the chest voice.
Mm-hmm.
And basically I used to just be all first gear. And, and then you get to like the mixed, and then you get to like your head voice. And then there's like falsetto or like the whistle register. And so like I've just started experimenting with those more dynamic techniques, and just trying to get more, just more colorful, like very bright, very achievable things. Because, if we're going to be playing like 45 minutes sets, or even like later on, like hour-long sets or something, you want to be able to like make it through the performance and like consistently sound good. And I just got to this point where I was like, this is good now, and this is working for me now, but like it's always good to like be evolving, man. Like you can have a sound that's just like, you can take it one way or you can take it another way, and then you can completely flip the script the next day. Like it's crazy. Like our fans have been along for the ride with us, like no matter what song we put out, And so we've had that luxury, thank God. But yeah, man, just always trying to evolve and just, just do what's going to be awesome next year.
Absolutely. And it's pretty cool to hear a vocalist saying that, you're evolving, because everyone else seems to evolve. It's like, the drummer would be like, I'm going to add a double bass pedal to these songs. Or, guitarist is like, all right, I'm going to try putting this tone through this tone. But like vocalist, It's like, well, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, and maybe I'll add a scream. Or, if you're a death metal band, you turn into clean singing, something like that. But
yeah, absolutely, man. So I just, rather than trying to be good at two things or be a good screamer, singer, like I've literally just put all my focus into just singing. And that is, I think that's paid off. Like I think it shows, that I've like really developed that area.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I believe you're close to that signature style. I think, maybe you have a new record coming up, right? Or I know you just released a single, but...
Yeah, we just released a single. We're going back to the studio next month to start working on some things. But then we have like a full-length record that's going into production later this year.
All right.
Yeah, and so basically just dropping these like, these like singles. But then whenever we come out with like the big show, it's going to be pretty dope.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, like, it's really crazy because a lot of bands will like write a collection of songs, or like say 10 songs, and like that's our album. And like ever since our last record, we've been writing and we've been experimenting and like figuring out which songs went over well on the first record, and like what songs went over well live, and what we want to do in the future. And like it's just been like a whole thing trying to like establish our kind of like signature, like you were saying.
Yeah.
And I just think it's just gonna like just fall in our laps one day. Like we keep writing songs, but each song is like better than the last, and it's a different thing. And like, so I guess what I'm getting at is like with this next record, some songs we wrote back then. Mm-hmm. Some songs are going to be written in the studio. Like whenever I have like that good chain and like a good mic and like, a good producer and stuff, like, just gonna like literally just try to like make something as fresh as we can, like at the time.
Yeah.
Whenever we go to record. But like, I guess we've just been fielding ideas and styles and genres and everything for a couple of years now, just trying to like just figure out what we're gonna do with like this next release, because our first record was like very well received, by the listeners and stuff. And so I hate whenever bands come out with like their second album and it's like
the sophomore slump.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's a rush job, and like it's just not, it doesn't have the, they say you have your whole life to write your first record.
Yeah, very true.
But I just like, yeah, I definitely don't want to be the sophomore slump. That's for sure. But we just want to have a new album that like brings the heat, and like it's got like unique things that like brand us as like Misfortune.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah, it is tough to get that one style down. Like for example, U2 with The Edge. Like if you hear that guitar tone, it's like, all right, that's a U2 song. Like it's hard for bands to come out with music, be like, I know exactly what that is. That's a Day to Remember song. That's a Misfortune song right there. It is hard to come up with that signature style. Yeah,
absolutely. And dude, it's just like, it's insane. Like I literally think that like the hit singles that we all grew up with and that we all love, they didn't happen, you know, just sitting down and trying to like make a fucking song out of it. Like it happened because they were riffing around and like that should just happen.
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
And that's how I like want us to be. Like I think we have one of those, like the potential to be like one of those like legacy like real bands, you know, like a, you know, like I don't even know, like a Sum 41 or like, you know, like a Yellow Card or like
the band that
like
influences the next generation of musicians.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at things. Instead of the bands going, yeah, we just want to be rich and famous, fuck everyone else. You know, you're out there going, you know what? I want to try to revolutionize our sound and just create like a whole music evolution where I could listen to a band 10 years from now that are influenced by us and hear a little bit of us in them. You know, which I think is a huge compliment.
Dude, absolutely. And like, you know, don't get me wrong, like we love like the Warped Tour world and like, you know, we've aspired to be a band that does those things forever, but you know, at a certain point too, like in the grand scheme of things, Warped is a fairly like small thing.
Yeah.
You know? And so being a band that's just like, well, we just want to play Warped and then like we can go home. Like we can write home to mom about that. Like, I don't know, man. That's just not like that's not the end of the road.
Exactly. Warped Tour should just be like a stepping stone for you and your band.
Absolutely. And like no like shame to Kevin Lyman or like the Warped Tour at all.
None
like,
whatsoever.
You know, that shit's dope, but you know, like I don't know. I want to be a band that can play like indie festivals or like even like a, you know, pop festival or
like a Coachella.
Like
That'd be amazing.
I'd love to play with Black Sabbath, like you know, or Post Malone or something. Like it's crazy. I just can't imagine like putting us in a box, but it's weird because you kind of have to like fit some profile.
Yeah,
so.
And it was huge like that going back maybe like, I don't know, 5-10 years ago with the whole Rise Core sound where like every band on Rise Records sounded the exact same. And like just in the last maybe like 3 years they started branching out to like Hot Water Music and, you know, a band like Silverstein putting out one of their albums on there. And then Five Finger Death Punch out of friggin' nowhere.
Yeah, that stuff's wild, man. And like, dude, I think Rise like really revolutionized the scene in a way that like, you know, whenever you used to go to shows, there was like no chance that you were gonna like meet the band or like, you know, it was so elusive and shit.
Yeah.
And I think that whenever that label, or not even that label, but just that movement happened, like bands became so much more easy to reach and to talk to, and that changes everything. Like if you're a band that can go to a show and like face to face interact with your fans and like make those connections and like lifetime fans, like it just didn't used to be like that.
Oh no,
so in that way.
Yeah, I mean, did you think like back in like the 80s that you would meet a band like a Motley Crue or Guns N' Roses if you weren't a hot chick? Exactly.
Or the Beatles, like fuck.
Yeah.
Or like something like, no, absolutely not. But it's really crazy, man. Like that's just, you know, the industry is like ever changing, and that's just like one of those customary things that has been introduced to it. So I don't know why you mentioning Rise Records like brought that up for me, but that's just the first like wave of artists that I was like, wait, that guy's just standing right there. Like I could just walk up to his bus right now and like smoke a joint with him, or like, you know, whatever. Like it's crazy, dude.
Yeah, so. But I mean, like thinking about like right before Rise Records, you had like Epitaph Records was huge. You had Victory Records. Like they all had those like, you know, like you somewhat mentioned, unapproachable bands. Like, did you think you could go up to Adam Lazzara and talk with him during like Tell All Your Friends days? It's not going to happen. You know, same thing with like Jesse and Brand New. I mean, obviously you still can't, but, you know, bands are a lot more open now, and I think a lot has to do with not only, like, the record labels, you know, like Rise, but also with your online presence, because online can make or break a band. Like, look at, for example, you remember the band The Bravery, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were, like, the first MySpace band. Like, they effectively used MySpace to come out with, you know, their biggest single, I think was An Honest Mistake. And yeah,
man, that is giving me some nostalgia, bro. Let me tell you.
Oh, I could go way back here.
But yeah, dude, the age of the internet has definitely transformed the game.
Yeah. Yeah, and both, you know, a positive and a negative way, because, you know, back then, if a band, let's say if Suicide Silence put out their new single Doris 10 years ago, there really isn't a way to tell everyone on the internet that, hey, this song sucks, or, Eddie can't sing clean or something like that. While nowadays, it's like you could just tag Eddie and be like, hey, bro, you suck.
Yeah. Dude, that's so real.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Creepy. So how is Misfortune with their online presence?
Dude, honestly, we've been just trying to make a point to be super active lately because, for a long time, shit was kind of like, I guess, like up in the air, sort of. Like, we weren't sure, like, we were proceeding with caution, if that makes sense, for the longest time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, here lately, now that we've just got, like, a firm foundation and, like, a full new lineup and, like, shit happening again, we just, like, wanted to make a point online to just be very active, contrary to just what it's been like. And yeah, definitely. Like we've been kind of annoying on social media lately.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's kind of opened some doors, man. Like, ever since we released our new song Die For You, like shit's just been happening. Like I want to say like never before. I mean, just in terms of like the general like buzz around the band and just like the opportunities that have kind of presented themselves. Yeah, I just couldn't be more thankful for like how things are going right now.
Yeah, and it also helps when you have a drummer extraordinaire like Luke Holland on your song.
Dude, absolutely. And that just happened like so organically, and like he's been a friend of the band for fucking since day one, dude. Like a fun fact, he'd probably be mad that I told this, but like Luke named Misfortune.
Really?
Yeah, like and like before it was even like a thing. Like yeah, like he and Josh have been homies for like a good long while, like since they were like teenagers, essentially.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, dude, and they jam together and they've been in YouTube videos together and stuff, and like literally just messing around. And yeah, a long time ago, Josh and Luke wanted to start a band, and that was right around the time that I was rolling out, our first single, like our first demo, I'll call it, like the Double Threat of Danger. Which is a song we did with Tyler Carter. That kind of like, yeah, it kind of like set things off for us. And it was just crazy because, I was trying to put together a lineup. They were playing with the idea of, making a band together. And we even like got on Skype a long time ago and like had a conversation, and it ended up not, turning into anything. But, just very short, like days after that, like he joined the Word Alive and did like a world tour with like Attack and like
Jesus.
Like the Word Alive and stuff. So it was just fucking crazy, dude. Like it was one of those things like it didn't exactly like work out just at the time. Like we hadn't even met each other, as far as me, like they knew each other, but everybody else that was in the current like Misfortune lineup at the time had never even been in the same room yet. So it was just totally like a hypothetical call. Like, let's start a band that's like all singing, like Hands Like Houses is like what we were talking about.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy, like to see where the band went from there to where the band is now. And like, we're basically doing like what we talked about doing. And it was just totally like a bro deal. Like we just hit him up and sent him the song and he loved it. And he was at the studio, literally learned the song in minutes, like at the studio, and just tracked it, dude. And I like, we let Luke be Luke on that song. A lot of bands
you're gonna have to.
Yeah, we like a lot of bands have worked with Luke and they have him just play their, what they wrote and stuff, and that's great. But dude, if you got Luke Holland, use Luke Holland.
Oh my God, yeah.
On a song.
He's basically the scene version of like Travis Barker. Like he's now a prominent figure, and I'm probably going to get some heat for this, but him leaving the Word Alive was the best thing he'd ever done for his career.
Well, dude, it's so funny that you mentioned Travis Barker. Like, Travis Barker follows him, like, on Twitter, Yeah. Like, that's like some fucking crazy shit. But dude, Luke is nuts, and it was just an honor to work with him. Like, to be honest, like, when we were recording the song, I was like, I can't even believe this is happening right now. I was, like, sending Snapchats to all my friends, just being like, I'm freaking the fuck out. This is crazy.
Don't fanboy.
Yeah, dude. And that was just it. It was like, he was just, like, the most open, like, down-to-earth dude ever. Like, we got into the studio with him, like, in October last year, and he even like just this was our like first time, you know, really sitting down and talking to each other, and he like, you know, he like was like, dude, I'm quitting my band. I was just like, so, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, are you serious? Like, I just didn't see that, like, didn't see that happening, I guess. Like, it definitely caught me off guard.
Yeah.
You know, because the Word Alive is doing great things, you know, and he did great things with them. But, you know, like, to a certain extent, like, you got to, like, do what's best for you. And, you know, I think Luke definitely has, like, the ability to transcend this network of, you know, bands. And like,
Oh yeah,
I see Luke drumming for like Justin Bieber.
Yeah, he's gonna be like the next Josh Freese.
Dude, yeah, like, you know, I even like heard rumors that he like had dinner. Well, I don't even want to like blow any whistles or anything, but like, dude, he's fucking been asked to do some major shit.
Oh yeah.
And like, yeah, I don't know. It's really crazy, man. Like, people kept asking, like, is he joining Misfortune? Is he joining Misfortune? And I was like, sorry,
I wish.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, man. It's crazy. Like, but then I also don't want to just call him like a session drummer, because it was like a lot more personal than that.
Yeah.
Like, with this track, and you know, it's a fucking amazing song. Like, I'm really, really glad that it worked out the way that it did.
Yeah, and now that you mentioned that, you know, he has a background and a history with this band, you know, that makes it even more personal.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's like really how it all happened. You know, everybody thinks like we had some like big like manager, like,
yeah, we paid him 50 grand to come in and do the track or something, but
yeah, his like our people hit up his people, and like they fucking no, dude. It was like, hey Luke, like, we're doing the song, and you live like 20 minutes away from the studio, and like, you know, we've always wanted to fucking work with you in some capacity. So like, whether that's one song or like several songs, or like, you know, songs in the future, like whatever, you know, like, you know, I don't know. Like, it was kind of like our casa, you casa kind of shit that day. And it was beautiful, man. I couldn't be more stoked.
Yeah, that's awesome how everything works out. You know, I always hear horror stories of, I think the latest one, it was someone on one of my friends lists, and I think they said that they tried to get Franz from Attila to come on and be on the track, and I think they offered him like $1,500, and Franz said something about he doesn't accept any gig for less than $3,000 or something like that.
Dude, and that's probably going back like 2013, 2014.
Yeah, before Attila is the force that they are today.
Yeah. Dude, I would probably say he's probably like over $5,000 now.
Oh, easily. Oh my God. Just the name alone. Like, he could just do one scream. But...
And then like, you can pay for that, but like, you're not paying for his band's rep. Like, you're not paying for him to tweet about you, or like any like, you know, like shouting out per se. Like, it's just, you want his voice on your song. So that's going to be $5,000.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fucking crazy. Yeah.
But it does open the doors to a lot of things. Like, you know for a fact Alternative Press is going to pick it up. All these websites are going to pick it up just because Franz's name is on there. So is it worth the $5,000 for that much publicity? Maybe.
You know, I think it probably is.
Yeah.
And I imagine Franz is the kind of guy, like, if he's really backing the project, like, he'll fucking...
Oh yeah, he's not going to do some shit track.
Like, he'll help you out. But that's just like that seems like the routine kind of is like, you're just paying for them for their time and to be on your track. You're not paying for them to like engage their fans like on your behalf, or to like, it's crazy. I used to think that was how it was. Like, oh yeah, we're paying for like shout outs and everything. But you know, honestly, we haven't done the guest vocal thing since Tyler. You know, we did that first track with Tyler Carter, and you know, again, that kind of opened up a lot of doors for us. Like, in the beginning, it's weird how it happens on these one-off tracks for us. It's like they just give us this huge push. Yeah. And like, it's nuts. It's like it's just how it's worked out. But yeah, ever since Tyler, you know, we've never had a guest feature, just because, you know, especially with our debut album, I really wanted to prove myself, like, as a vocalist, you know?
Exactly.
And, I just tried.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry. I just tried to like basically like brand it like as like we didn't need like another singer.
Exactly, you know? Yeah, exactly what I was gonna say.
not that like, you know, we wouldn't like love to work with somebody. It's just like for that in particular. And then, you know, really the only feature we've had since then was Luke. You know,
Yeah.
so that's pretty sick. But I'm definitely like open to some co-writing and stuff like for the next album. I really want to have like a sick feature or two, just because, you know, two voices is better than one.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you just had you had Tyler, you just had Luke. Now, where do you go?
Dude, I've definitely put some thought into that. I really like, and this is just like a personal thought. Like this isn't even like, but I've really thought about working with Tyler again.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
Yeah, like if he'd be into it, of course. But like, you know, we did that one track just years and years ago, and you know, that was a song that like my band at the time put together. You know, I just made up a chorus. Like it was basically like a pre-written chorus that I like fit into that song, and then sent it to Tyler. And Tyler thought it was super dope, and he just kind of like ad-libbed his part over it. And like, you know, we were in different places. We like kind of texted and called about the song, but we didn't like sit down and write a fucking song together, you know. And like here we are like 4 years later. I shudder to think like what we could do, you know, if that makes sense. But it's weird, man. Like I don't know who else. Like obviously like would really love to work with Anthony Green.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, dude. And I made like a straight up like a connection with him like a few months back. And you know, I would love to see that turn into something. But of course, you know, with somebody like that, it's got to like he's got to like love the song and like want to do it and like be stoked. Yeah. Like, you know, he's fucking massive. But you know, really, that's like what comes to mind. Like if I could have like a dream, you know, dream team like on the next album, that'd be pretty fucking crazy.
That, and he does way too much. Like he just had his fourth or fifth kid. He's on the circuit tour right now. There's a heavy rumor that Seosin is doing another, I think, album and/or tour this summer.
I believe it.
Yeah. Then he has his solo stuff.
That guy's a machine.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like that's what I was gonna say. He's like touring with like 3 things just right now, and it's like a big part of the game is to not only, you know, write music and play music and record music, but it's to like keep writing music.
Yeah.
And to like always have shit like in the works, and just to think like, dude, like he's writing like 3 records like at any given time, or you know, just I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he like has his regimen, like how he writes and shit.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It's just nuts. Like, how do you keep coming up with ideas 3 times every year or 2?
Exactly. I mean, love him or hate him, like he's like the scene version of Kanye, where Kanye will come up with like 100 different beats and 100 different raps, and he's like, you know what, I like this. I'll throw this out on an album. You know what? Yeah, I'll give that to someone else. You know, I could see Anthony Green pumping out at least maybe 3 to 5 songs a day while on tour.
Yeah. And then just being like the best father and like husband and like, dude, yeah, he's like a class act, man. Like every singer should like aspire to be the front man and just like the personality that he is, dude. Like there's just not a more gracious person who's like as amazing as he is.
Exactly.
You know?
And meeting him will blow anyone away. That I could say from personal experience, and I'm sure you can say the same. Yeah.
Dude, yeah, and just like his performance was mesmerizing. Like I've never like witnessed anything like it. You know? And that was just his solo stuff.
Yeah, his solo stuff is amazing, and that's the softer side of Anthony.
It is, dude. He can punch through, dude. He's got some like really aggressive vocals, like, but he plays it over like real happy, like, but kind of sad. It's weird, dude. He's like a fucking god.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's funny. Like, take a song like going back to his first album with Dear Child, which is pretty like a nice upbeat song, and the next thing you know, the next track is I think Stone-Hearted Man, where he's just like, I am soft singing now. It's like, wait, what the fuck?
Dude, and just his technique and just his legacy and just like his lyrics and just it's just magic, dude. He's fucking
yeah. And then
eclectic.
Exactly. And then he brings aboard the entire Good Old War crew, and they fucking take it to another level.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Absolutely.
Craziness. So I'm on your Facebook page now, and you're going to Australia in April.
Yeah, dude. We're doing our first headline tour ever in Australia.
Wow. That is incredible.
That shit, like, yeah, I'm like still, and it's crazy because like the shows are actually like selling, and we've never been there. Like, I did a podcast there in like 2012. Like not even there, but it was like an Australian radio podcast, and it was with The Pit. You remember that?
The Pit?
With James Killian.
The name sounds familiar.
Yeah, he was a cool dude, but yeah, that's literally the only like even press we've done in Australia. So just to like literally have kids messaging me being like, I've already got 4 tickets to like Brisbane. I'm like, what?
Really?
Fuck. Yeah, dude. And like VIP and like just it's not real anymore, dude. Like at that point.
Yeah, I think because we're also kind of sheltered in the U.S. Like, we all know that like the bands are going to be coming back like 2 or 3 more times. So, if we miss out, that's fine, whatever. While in Australia, U.S. bands only go over there maybe like once or twice, maybe every year, every 2 years. So it's either you miss them now and you could miss them forever. So,
dude, and I just think like what we're doing has been like really resonating with like kids overseas. It's insane. Like our music has always like translated internationally. Even from the first song, Double Threat, we had people like fucking, like the greetings from Chile and like Brazil and like Portugal and like, just all this shit. And I'm like,
you're like, wow, people live there.
Or like, really, I think like, well, that kind of sucks. Like that person's never going to get to see us.
Yeah,
ever.
that's so, yeah.
But that's, of course, a terrible outlook, and that's probably not even true. Like, we're probably going to play for plenty of people over there. But, like, fuck, dude, Australia. Like, that's one that was like, oh, man, like, thank you. Like, I'm so glad you love our music. I wish we could ever have the chance to play it in front of you. And, like, here
Until
it is.
now.
Like, we're headlining the bill, and, like, it's... Yeah, dude, like, there's no words.
Well, I mean, there are a couple words. I think awesome is like one of the top ones.
Yeah, there are some words. Yeah. There are some words.
Yeah, I'm just fucking with you. But yeah, I mean, you're out there for a good, I think, like 9 or 10 days in April, which is actually, isn't it like winter over there?
Yeah, I think it's well, it's not quite winter. It's like fuck, I don't actually remember.
Might be fall. I think the opposite end of the world, like everything down, like let's say South America, like the equator. I believe everything below the equator is the complete opposite. So
oh my God.
I think you just add 6 months to it. So I think you're looking at like late October, early November weather over there.
Yeah, that's not bad. I'm really excited. I mean, like touring with that band, Awaken I Am too. Like their shit's about to be popping off. I mean, they already are kind of, like getting like some really great traction.
Yeah.
And like it's gonna basically be like their. I don't want to say it's their album release tour because I'm not exactly sure, but I know they're like recording their record here with Taylor Larson right now.
Nice.
And then whenever they get home, we're doing that tour. So they're gonna have some new stuff. We're gonna have some new stuff by then too. Out before then, we have a new song called "Hit the Road" that is coming out. We're actually playing it at So What for the first time.
Yeah, that's also coming up down in Texas.
Yeah. And we're going to be live debuting that song, which is something I've always wanted to do. It was like basically play a song live, and then people like upload videos of it and shit. And, like,
yep. It's always going to be a shitty YouTube copy.
Yeah.
Like phones never really figured that out yet, did they?
I guess not, dude. But like, it's just really interesting. Like, whenever I see bands do that, because like I'll know the song for like 5 or 6 months before the song even comes out, and it's pretty interesting hearing it go from like the live. Enactment to like a studio recording. You're like, shit. Because usually it always works the opposite way.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, we're not going to hold on to the song for like 5 or 6 months. We're just basically going to like debut it and then release it like probably before Australia.
Yeah.
But yeah, playing it for the first time at So What Music Fest. It's going to be fucking awesome.
Nice, man, nice. And then that's in late March. You head over to Australia in late April. What do you got going on for the summer?
Well, for the summer, we are trying to get back in the studio and create the new record. the next record. And yeah, man, I just couldn't be any more excited, because like I was saying earlier, we've kind of like fielded through some of the like the cool ideas, but like not the brilliant ideas.
Yeah.
Just kind of ran some tests internally to see like what, and I don't even think we covered this, but well, maybe you have some, like, do you have anything about like the member like change?
No, I didn't even notice anything. So if you want to
Well,
go through
okay.
it, go for it.
All right. I kind of like expected that it might be something we would talk about, but so I just already have like my answer prepared. But
okay, so about the member change.
well, basically, we just got a new drummer and a new bass player. It is Nick Taylor on drums and Michael Skaggs on bass, and these guys are both in Outline and Color. They recently had like kind of like some member or like lineup issues themselves, and we just kind of like joined forces, and it was crazy because it's like half like kind of our team and like half their team just coming together to make something like super awesome.
Yeah.
But like obviously like in our music video Chasing Dreams, there's like 3 different guys that aren't like featured in the lineup anymore, and truth be told, like we never had like a super solid like drummer worked out. Josh, our guitarist, has always like written the music and written the songs and like the drums and the kind of the skeleton of the song, and then like we just had trouble for the longest time finding a drummer that could like pull it off, or like it's just hard when you have like drums that are like programmed
exactly
on an album and try to like bring them to life, and it's just I don't know, we had this mentality that because we had like such talented key figures in the band that we just had to have the best player like that we could have.
Well, yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Or like it's not like and it's not necessary, dude. It's not like that. Like these days we have like a really, really solid lineup, and it's people that like each other, and like we all get along, and we're all like friends, and we're all like there for each other, and we all like bring certain things to the table. And like not to say that like the people we had on bass and rhythm guitar before like didn't care or anything, but it's just like we realized that like what a big deal this is, like not just to us but like to the people that listen to this music and love this music and have like come up with this band. And so I love those guys to death, and I wouldn't wish anything bad for them ever. Like they had their own personal reasons and like shit that they had going on.
Yeah, and you respected it for it.
Dude, yeah, and like not gonna lie, like it kind of fucked us up like for a while. Like we didn't know like if it was gonna be like misfortune anymore, just because when you kind of go through something like that, especially in the fashion that we did, it's just like, I don't know, man. It's like, do we even want to do this anymore? Or like, is it gonna be the same? Or,
yeah,
like,
it's always tough.
Yeah, dude. And so it was almost something we had to like force ourselves into doing at first, just because it literally was like, misfortune was attached to like kind of a traumatic experience, like in some cases, like for us.
Yeah.
And so like, I don't know, man, just trying to like shake it off and not be mad at that anymore was like hard, man. Like, and I had all these like, just like really just negative like emotions about it all for a while, and that's why you kind of hear the songs that my side project Northern Lights put out, like where it's very, very aggressive and like very angry and just super shitty. Like, I mean, as far as like the content there, and like that was never like misfortune, like we couldn't like make a song that's like super bitter and hateful and like fucking. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, we've had songs that are like, I guess, like kind of pissed.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, man. There was definitely just like a phase that had to be gone through before we could like reapproach this and like come at it with like a fresh perspective, and not only that, but just give things like some time to cool down. You know. But Yeah, dude, it's wild. Like, now we have like a complete lineup again. We're actually a 4-piece now. And I just like, I feel like we're like where we're supposed to be at this point. And like, we've kind of mended the fences and like, just like, we've like got the love for it
Yeah,
all over
exactly.
again, and like Die For You, like after we wrote that song, I just kept listening to the demo of it, like, holy shit, like we're back. Like
And better than
this
ever.
is misfortune. Dude, yeah, like
Yeah.
this is misfortune. Like I thought it would be, something that would totally change and something that would never be the same and something the fans would have to digest and like,
Yeah.
oh, bringing new faces into the band. It's like, it's not, dude. It, like you said, you didn't even like notice it happen,
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's weird because like we didn't want to like hide it or anything, but it's just like hard to talk about or hard to like put out there. People don't really care about the drama. I mean, like they care about the gossip
Of course.
drama, but they don't like care about the internal struggles and just like the shit that these bands like live through to bring you a record.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm guessing with all of this, you in the beginning you did feel slighted, like these two members decided to quit, and it did take a toll not only on the band but like on every single member personally too, because these are guys you considered your best friends, your brothers, and for them to just go, yeah, fuck it, we're done, kind of
Yeah.
left a bad taste in your mouth. But you could always either put out like one of those dumb revenge albums. You're like, yeah, fuck these guys, we're gonna be this, that, and then those albums 9 times out of 10 usually suck. Or
Yeah.
you find more members that you jive maybe even better with, and then you come out with a single like Die For You, where it's just like, holy shit, wait a second here. So
Yeah, dude, I'm glad that that's the effect that it carries, because I wanted it to be like like in the song I say something about like it's time that we move forward, and like I know that I'll move forward, and it's just because like literally like from the day this band even was on rocky ground, I was like, I'm doing this regardless. I wasn't always sure exactly how,
yeah,
but I was just like, dude, like we've come this far.
exactly, just to
And
piss it away.
yeah, and we've touched like so many people, and like just trying to like just start over. Like starting over is super daunting, but like shit, if the band is in a place that we have to start over, like let's just start over. We don't have to like come up with a new name for the same music. Like people are gonna hear my voice on a song and say, "That's the dude from Misfortune. I remember that record." Like, and same with Josh. Like if he plays those leads and those chords and those scales and like blah blah blah, that shit is Misfortune.
Yeah.
Like there was no reason that we had to drop our band name or start over or like destroy what we built. Like there was no reason for it. And it's not even like the band members, like I don't resent them, or anything. Like I don't even blame them, just because like in the situation that we were in and the way shit was kind of going and just the way that we were like, I will say, mishandled in that situation that we were in.
Yeah, of course.
Like like why would anybody want to do that? Like what's in it for me? Like that's what I see it like from their perspective. And there's other opportunities out there. I mean, like our old bass player Ian is like, he's doing this band Cover Your Tracks now on Epitaph.
Yeah,
and, like,
they're getting some traction.
dude, I'm fucking stoked like for him. Like I see him like on stage, and I just remember him killing it like with us, and I see him killing it still, and like that certainly like fills my heart up with joy. Like to see like him fulfilled and like doing what he wants to do, which
Yeah.
is to tour and play guitar in like a successful band that's like doing shit. And for a minute, like we weren't like doing shit because we had like so much like kind of stripped away from us. And so I don't blame them, dude. Like in their situation, I would have done the exact same thing.
Exactly.
The only difference is like it's like I'm like the face of this now, and like if Misfortune got a new singer, like, and I don't want this to sound like arrogant at all, but like that would change Misfortune, like there are definitely people that would like walk away because of that. And like I've just like, I don't know, man, I've done like everything to like build the band up, and like in a way like the band is me. Like Not like in our music or like on our performance level, but like that shit is literally like a part of me and like who I am. And it's like, if you're gonna drop a band name because of stigma, like then you just can't be in a band with me, apparently, you know? And so I'm gonna fucking embrace it. And I'm gonna stand up to any adversity that like comes our way, and I'm gonna set the record straight like every time. And like I believe in this shit. And I always have, so
yeah. And you always will.
Always will. Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I don't think we're going to get better than that.
Yeah?
Yeah. Wow, you really opened up there. That was fucking awesome.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Dude, honestly, I've been, like, wondering, like, when is this shit going to, like, hit? Like, when is this going to come out? Like, how am I going to talk about it? Yeah. And it's crazy, man. You made it super, like, natural to bring it out. Like, you know, I was worried it would be, like, an awkward, like, Brian Starr's interview one day. And they just put me on the spot. And they're like, so, what happened with Sumerian? Where's your bandmates?
What's your porn star name? Shut up, you fucking hack. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that motherfucker.
Dude, no, I totally understand, man. Is he even doing interviews nowadays?
I don't know. Last thing I heard was he pissed off that whole little group thing that he had.
Oh, okay.
That was the last thing I heard. I was like, yeah, well, whatever, fuck this guy.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
It definitely helps just to have like the uncut, uncensored like kind of vibe too, because like in an interview you got to be more like, I don't want to say like PC, but you can't be like,
you got to be more robotic, you know. You got to give the answers and that's it, you know.
Yeah, and like avoid like tricky questions and like fucking, you know, oh well, we shouldn't really talk about that because, you know, yeah. So that's funny, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it was a real pleasure. I'm glad we got to touch base. I'm just about to head to the show right now.
There we go. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for this. And right before we go, we usually play a track out to end the interview. Do you want me to go with Die For You?
Yeah, absolutely.
There we go. Die For You. It's happening right now. So this episode will be up tomorrow, the 22nd, February 22nd. So, yeah, I'll definitely hit you up with the link to everything, and I hope you enjoy how it all came out.
Dude, absolutely. And we'll definitely share it, and just thank you so much for your time, dude.
Yeah, and we'll definitely have a part 2, too. So next time you're in New Jersey or New York City, I'll definitely come on out.
Yes, absolutely, bro.
Hell yeah, man.
Well, you have a good one, man.
All right, enjoy the show.